Welcome to It Takes Two. I'm Blair.
I'm Chris.
And today we'll be talking about Love After Lockup, Season 5, Episode 39.
Listen, I need you to subscribe, like, share, comment. We are so close to 3,000 subscribers. I think y'all can get us over. Help us. You ready to walk us through this, Blair?
I'm ready.
Let's go.
So we start with Z and Troy.
Let's jump straight into it.
So she is telling him that they are done. She threw the ring on the ground. That's it. It's a wrap. So he left, didn't take his phone. And she says that tells her that you didn't want to talk to me.
That told her that he didn't want to talk to her?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Troy knows that she can have a temper, but he didn't think that she would lash out on him in person the way that she's doing.
Okay.
And Z is telling him, you were gone for hours. Like, were you going to go meet up with Yonna and leave me? Yonna is bringing up things that we've talked about. Z did cheat while he was in prison, but he found a way to forgive her. So they are on this new slate that they talk about. And she's talking about, how did Yonna know that you were even out of the house? Like, she feels like her mind is being played with. Z says that she can't take the BS with the baby mama. And he's asking her just to stop, to put her ring back on. And he's telling her that he is not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Z feels that he's trying to downplay how she feels and not stick up for her. He apologizes to her for being gone for so long. And he asks her again to put the ring back on. She asked him if he was going to talk to Yonna behind her back, and he says, anytime I talk to her, it'll be in front of you. So to her, that's all she needed to hear. She says this is his commitment, that he's not leaving. If she takes the ring off again, then she's really done. So they hug, and they are going to go to Buffalo.
Stop right there. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts so far, Z don't make no sense. She kicked the man out the house. So he went on, what, a 2-3 hour walk? Okay, and like, she's not even thinking. She's so angry. She's like, how did Yonna know you were gone? Karen is on the phone with her, updating her and telling her what's going on. So, yeah, Z is just not making any sense right now. I think that Troy needs to get out of Dodge fast.
You know how, like, people have kinks
and
things like that, especially when it comes to, like, bedroom and something like that. I think that's the word, but let's say it is, right?
Yeah.
I think she have, like, a, I want to control something. Because usually when people's lives show that they have no control over anything in their life, they want to control something in their life, something small. And the fact that she basically manipulated Troy into apologizing. First of all, it was her who had a bad attitude. It was her who said, I'm not going to Buffalo no more. It was her who started the whole argument with him and things like that made him leave the house, right, episodes ago. He just wanted to go see his child. That's all.
Really?
She started the whole argument. She started the whole yelling back and forth and things like that. She's telling him to come in the house, yelling at him, basically being his prison guard. And that is like her thing, and I don't know if it is I don't know what it is about these people, but these people want to date these prisoners so they can be free, just so they can lock them up again.
Yeah. And
basically put them under some type of parole. So basically now every time he talks to his baby mother, he got to make sure he do it in front of her. Right?
Yeah.
Now every time he got to show her the phone. Now he's apologizing. Now he's so worried about her putting the ring back on. Why you want to put the ring back on before? Why do you want to be with someone like Z before? I mean, not before. Why do you want to be with someone like Z in the first place? The whole time I'm looking at him, and for one, Troy, it's embarrassing the role you took as a man in the scene, and I think your mother was embarrassed too. Your mother's sitting there like, this is just too much, and this is my son. I'm not even saying that he should be the type to just like roar back at her, but just be like, yeah, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to Buffalo and I'm gonna stay up there. You get what I'm saying? Plus his whole family up there anyway. So, but it is what it is. Let's keep going with this scene.
So Z decides to go with him to Buffalo.
Okay.
She is not going to play the background. She wants his friends and family to know that they are good. So Troy's daughter calls, and he tells her that he is on his way.
Okay.
So his daughter was 7 months old when he went to prison, and she is now 7 years old.
Wow.
He lost a lot of time. He kind of, gets teary-eyed because he's just like, I supported as much as I could, but I really wasn't there for her. And he just wants his daughter to know that she can come to him for anything, and he wants to have that close relationship and be that support to her that she, needs and deserves in her life.
Yeah.
So they get to Buffalo. It's kind of like a backyard, like cookout, whatever going on. And the family and friends, they embrace Troy and they welcome him home. Troy's sister's there, and she, greets not Yonna. Z, and she tells us, the viewers, that she would have preferred that he would come to Buffalo. He has friends and family there.
Yeah.
And, you know, when he was gone, he had no phone. There was no way for them to contact him and to make sure he was good.
Yeah.
So Z is nervous to meet Yonna. Like, Troy is checking with her, like, are you good? Are you okay? And she's just kind of like, you know, basically like, well, nothing better pop off. You know, I'm done with it. All this type of stuff. But you can tell she's nervous. And she's saying, you know, if something goes wrong, this could be the end of their relationship.
And at the end of the day, that's what I'm saying. Like, your life is so messed up, Z, that you have to go see a psychic. Your life is so messed up that you over here having him sign these adoption papers. Whole time he gotta be there for your kid, but he can't go see his actual kid because your kid is more important. Okay, true. And whole time, really, the truth of the matter is you're scared. Yonna got you scared.
Yeah.
And that's why you acting out. That's why you lashing out, because at the end of the day, like, you just showed your hand of really what is really your insecurity. So you just trying to basically lash out, act out. And Troy, the fact that you even allowed this, you worried about her putting the ring back on, guess what? You're with her now. And now you're over here talking about like, oh yeah, I knew she had a temper, but I ain't think it was this bad. First of all, you knew she had a temper. She cheated on you while you was in prison and try to blame it on you. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, why would you even subject yourself to this? What is your thoughts overall on Z and the whole situation with Troy?
I just get annoyed with Z of how she makes him responsible for other people's actions, and then she lashes out on him for it. Like, she was mad that Karen kept bringing up Yonna and made him sleep on the couch because of it. Like, it's just all very odd and weird, and she just like punishes him for everything that's going on around them and what his friends or family does when he didn't even want his mama there. So
facts.
So I'm just kind of like, I wish Troy would leave Z. I feel like she's going to put him in some type of predicament to where he could possibly go back to jail and not even anything of his doing. Like, I'm scared she might be the type to call the police talking about he won't leave the house when she's telling him to get out or whatever the case may be, even though before she's like, don't just leave and be gone for hours. So it's just like, I don't think there's any way to win with this girl.
Yeah. She's sick in the head.
So next we go on to Shante and True.
Okay.
So True said his PO violated him because he wasn't at his mom's address, the address he said he would be paroled to. Shante hopes that he gets house arrest. She just feels like being in Cape is really negative, and even if he does get house arrest, she doesn't plan on coming down to visit.
Okay.
She rides with him to the courthouse, and we see after everything happens that he is going to be on house arrest. And they said he'll be on house arrest until he shows improvement. Okay. So he is going to parole or be on house arrest at his friend Peppa's house in Cape. Shante says that he could have done house arrest at her house, but he never asked for the paperwork to do it at her house. Okay. So he's going to be on house arrest for 2 years, and he's still not going to be fully involved with the kids that she's going to end up having. So she's like, he might as well be back in prison.
I have a question about Shante in this scene. Even though he did not give the paperwork, and I think like that's a whole nother story, right? Shante, you need to make a decision. Do you want him or do you like not want him, and things like that? Because when it's this fake coy thing that she's doing, where it's like, hey, you have to earn me back, but the whole time I can see through that you want me back. Yeah. So I don't know if I don't know if True didn't give her the paperwork because he's gonna do what True does. You get what I'm saying? Or it's like, she ain't gonna want me back because she keeps saying she don't want me, so I'm not even gonna put her through it. You get what I'm saying? I think I'm gonna trust the latter of True go do what True does. Exactly. But Shante, don't make it seem like you welcomed him back with open arms. You playing hard to get the whole time. You telling him he got to sleep on the couch there, but in the morning he end up in the bed. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? You're like, I don't know how you ended up in the bed. You have him taking you to go get what is the thing with the baby?
Ultrasound.
You got him taking you to go to like the ultrasound and telling him to stay in the car. You can't come in with me. It's just like you're playing games just as y'all are the same person. like it's basically y'all are the same person with these kid games.
Yeah, she's trying to play hard to get, but she's not hard to get. No. And True knows she's not hard to get. That's why he's doing whatever he wants, and he's gonna pop over with her and ask her to drive the Cape and do all this type of stuff because he knows that she's gonna do it. So if you're gonna do it, what do they say? Suckers get licked or whatever. So
well, I say that.
Okay.
Okay.
So she's a sucker getting licked right now. So True calls his friend Kels and invites her to come out to eat with them. He is, of course, going to stay at Peppa's house, and we learned that Peppa is married to True's brother, who is locked up.
Yeah.
So apparently True and Kels were friends since they were like 14 years old, and Peppa is Kels' homegirl. So Kels, she usually just helps True out. Like they're talking about doing some runs or having her do some runs for her, and then for him, and Shante is like, well, why can't you do it yourself? And she was like, I'm on house arrest. I feel like True really thinks she's dumb. I really do think he thinks she's dumb. Like I don't think he respects this girl at all. But she just lets him play in her face.
Listen,
you know?
Listen. I might be with True there. I think they both are slow, to be honest.
So, Shante knows about Kels and how they go out to eat, how they go to the casino together. She doesn't think that they're like crossing boundaries necessarily in their relationship, but at the end of the day, she don't know. So True says that, Shante is going to have to come visit him because the friend is asking, so like, what are you guys going to do to make your relationship work? She's like, are you guys together? Are you not together? Shante is saying, we're working on being together. And she's like, well, what needs to happen? And she was like, well, she needs to. And Shante is like, it's just interesting. She asked what we need to do, and you talking about what I need to do instead of what you need to do to make the relationship work. So she gets up to excuse herself, and Kels asks when Shante walks away, like, do you think that she's actually going to come and visit? And she was like, yeah, like he thinks that she will be there to visit. And she's like, okay, well, what about when the babies come? And he's like, well, I don't think I'll be on house arrest when the babies come. And she's like, you probably will.
I'm about to say 2 years, exactly.
You probably will. And so he's just saying that he hadn't thought that far ahead. So they get to Peppa's house, they knock on the door, and we have to wait till next episode to meet Peppa.
See, here's the thing about Shante. Here's what's probably gonna happen. She's gonna move where he is. Because she has shown herself to basically move at the rhythm of whatever beat that True is beating, and to like the sound of his drum. So she's going to talk about how, like, he ain't gonna be here anyway if he's on house arrest over there. He might as well be in prison anyway. Well, he was in prison, and you ain't gonna see him,
right?
So like, you have no problem being in the same city when you could have saw him. You moved to the same city, but then wouldn't go up there and see him. So Shante has some movements that's weird to me. That's not understandable. So she's probably gonna move to where he is because True's. Here's the thing. She thinks one of us have to be the mature one. And every move that she makes, she thinks she's doing it out of maturity of trying to bring them closer. But on the outside, what we see two immature adults.
Yeah. You
get what I'm saying? The fact that you even allowed yourself to get pregnant by this guy is an immature act on her part. You get what I'm saying? You didn't protect yourself. It just didn't make no sense. So Shante will be making that 5-hour drive back and forth, pregnant or not, with kids or not, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't get when like people, especially like Shante, over here talking about we're working on being together. True was just at the gas station, I think, getting something from some lady. Okay, so in my eyes, I'm like, I don't think True has ever said to you that he's working on being in a relationship with you. He's just popping in and popping out and doing whatever the hell he wants. And if this is what Shante wants, that's great. I mean, I don't know what more to say other than the fact that True is going to live his life and do what he wants, and she is going to find her way to fit in. So,
well, let's move on.
So we got Hope and Arthur.
All right.
So Hope's grandparents and sisters are in town. She plans on revealing Arthur to everyone.
Revealing Arthur to everyone is a wild statement.
So her sisters meet with her at the bar. They're the first to arrive, and she tells them that she has a boyfriend, but she's kind of being vague about it. They're trying to figure out, is it somebody from the past? Like, because a lot of her past exes really aren't people that they want to revisit. And she says, well, kind of. And she tells them that she's dating Arthur, and the sister remembers, oh, yeah, that's the guy from prison. So he is staying with Hope, and the sisters don't get why she's dating him and taking care of him. They're actually kind of like laughing at her, like cracking jokes and all this type of stuff. And Hope is just like, he just needs some time to establish his foundation. She tells them that he had like a mental breakdown and he's just trying to get himself together.
Yeah.
But the sisters aren't for it. They think that he needs to get a job, be stable, and it doesn't make sense for Hope to be having to carry this man in life.
Well,
Granny and Granddad arrive. They sit down for the restaurant, and Hope is saying that her family expects her to be with a doctor or a lawyer.
Stop right there for a second. Your family she's a trucker.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying truckers can't get doctors or lawyers, but based off of the history that Hope has shown us of the type of guy she been with, even when it came down to the infidelities, I don't think Hope reads doctor and lawyer.
I'm just like, I just don't see Hope hanging around with people who are doctors and lawyers. Like, Hope hangs around people like Arthur, which I think Arthur is actually a fine, person or whatever. But people who've been to jail, in jail, the sister saying people who've broken out your windows and stuff like that. Yeah, Hope don't seem like she be in those circles of meeting like professionals. Hope is like kind of dating people in the street life is from what I can see. So I don't know how they could expect that out of her.
Listen here,
but
it just shows that maybe she's lying to her family.
Maybe.
And they don't know what type of girl she is.
Mm-hmm.
But let's continue.
So Arthur arrives. Hope shares that she is in a relationship with him, and she drops the bomb that he was in prison.
Okay.
So the granddad, he's asking questions, and he tells them what he was incarcerated for, that he has been out for 3 months, but he did do 9 years. Mm-hmm. And the sister is asking, well, how are you supporting my sister? And he says right now he's looking for work. He's designing clothes, but he's, a good listener, and he talks to her.
Yeah.
The sister says, you went back to jail after she helped you the first time.
Yep.
So what's different this time? And Arthur says like he really learned his lesson. He saw a lot of things in prison, and it's not something that he wants to revisit. So the pawpaw granddad is talking about that he was in corrections and he knows how the games go.
Okay.
And the sister says what you need to be doing is giving yourself emotional support and just making sure that you are good. And the other sister mentions his mental breakdown and asks like, what's your plan for making sure that you don't go back, to prison? And Arthur, just doesn't want to go back to prison.
I mean, that's usually how it goes.
But when it comes to the mental breakdowns, he says that he's just not going to put that much pressure on himself. And the sister is saying to him, well, you're a man and you're in America, so the pressure is going to be there. It's not just going to go away.
That's true.
And so, we learned that Hope has had a wild dating life, and the family just wants her to have like a solid, healthy situation.
Of course, she had a wild dating life, not with doctors and lawyers, though.
Right. And the granddad tells him, look, let the past be the past. Move on with your life. You're young enough. You have enough life ahead of you. So try to make the most of it.
Yeah.
And Arthur was thinking that Hope would come to his defense at some point during the conversation, but she didn't. She actually laughed at certain times when she was asking people if they got any more questions and stuff. So she was not trying to defend him or even speaking on his good qualities. She kind of left him hang out to dry from what I saw.
Yeah. I saw this as her trying to basically like clear her name. Besides her like inviting and hey Arthur, come meet my family, this is my family, it was more like, okay, I can't hide it no more. I'm just going like, here, this is who he is, y'all can just say whatever y'all want to him and things like that. Besides actually like breadcrumbing your family in the sense of like, hey, I'm dating someone that's in prison, while she's doing it. Don't wait to do everything all at once, because now of course everybody gonna have questions because they're trying to catch up to the present.
Yeah.
And of how did we get here? And I can understand from Arthur's perspective of why he may feel like, hey, I feel like I'm being jumped right now. Well, you kind of are, right? But at the same time, it was Hope who let us know that about this continuous relationship, and we just trying to catch up.
Yeah.
And it's actually Hope for not actually involving us throughout the process, because maybe if she would have involved us throughout the process, she wouldn't be here with you. What is your thoughts on this scene?
I have a few thoughts. Like, my first thought is, I agree with you. Like, I wish Hope would have clued her family in on everything, but I also don't think the situation would have been much different.
Okay.
I actually appreciated her grandmother and grandfather. I thought they weren't super hard on Arthur.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I felt like they were just kind of like, okay, we're meeting this young man. This is who you're dating. And we're just trying to encourage him just to be better in the future. And I mean, because really, you can't change the past. And if this is who she's with, they can't tell her not to be with him. So it's just kind of like, what do you want us to say, Hope? Mm-hmm. But I really didn't like how Hope brought up his mental breakdown to her sisters.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like that was a safe space for her to share that intimate detail with the sisters, especially when the sisters were kind of ragging on her, ragging on him in the conversation. Mm-hmm. And I didn't like how the sister brought it up in front of everybody about how he had a mental breakdown and how is he going to stop himself from having another one. Like, he went through a lot. And
that's funny.
And I don't think that necessarily that's something that he can prevent himself from having again. So I think that's kind of wrong for her to put the onus on him to basically not have the after effects of being in prison.
Yeah.
So I don't know if maybe she was looking or hoping for him to say that he would go to therapy. Mm-hmm. But I didn't think that was their place to question him about his mental status.
No, not at all.
No. And I also feel like Hope kind of set him up for that. And I look at Hope sideways for exposing that information to her family, like in the way that she did, or period, to be honest. Mm-hmm. Then also Arthur, I think that when Arthur goes to meet people's family, of course they're going to have their preconceived notions. Mm-hmm. The tattoo on his forehead, the triangle, does not help. Yeah, it does not help.
It is
and I don't know if he's in a position to get it removed or if he can put a little bit of makeup on it. But when you're meeting people for the first time, it's going to be hard for people to see past the triangle.
Okay, we can't see past the triangle.
They're going to have a hard time seeing past it. I think her grandparents kind of did, at least the way they presented themselves, like they didn't seem that judgmental. And of course, like the sisters and everybody was saying, you really don't have to prove nothing to us. Like, you just need to be good for yourself so that way you and Hope can have a solid situation. But I think that first impressions matter. And if he's going to be going on job interviews, hopefully if he can get to the interview portion, he got to do something with that triangle.
He just got showed this part of his face. That's all.
Like that is not. A lot of people are going to turn him away just for that, which is unfortunate. But yeah. And
I think that's the tattoo. I think he was supposed to get her name or something like that, and he used the money to get another tattoo. Hopefully that wasn't the tattoo,
right?
Of just putting a triangle on his head. Because when we look at the past pictures, the triangle wasn't always there when they was dating.
No.
So I think you're 100% right about the sisters, about Hope. Hope just comes off as insensitive. It's kind of weird. Mm-hmm. Because what type of question is how can you prevent him from having, or how can he prevent himself from having a second breakdown? Mm-hmm. I'm like, I don't think he wanted to have the first one.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So I think you hit the nail on the head right there, Blair.
So next we've got Bianca and Daniel.
Okay.
So Bianca, she is still out with Daniel's cousin and Daniel's parents. And she's asking the cousin, why did you convince Daniel not to marry me? And at first she's like, I didn't convince him not to marry you. And she's like, I saw the email. You sent him an email saying that you probably shouldn't marry a girl that you've never met, or that you haven't met. And so the cousin says, look, I was just trying to get him to think logically. Yeah. He was going to stay. Originally, Daniel was going to stay with the cousin until he got on his feet. Mm-hmm. But now that he met Bianca, the cousin thinks that he's thinking with his D instead of his brain.
Okay.
So mom tells them that, okay, we're going to head out. Is this your last drink of the night? And she's just like, yeah. And the dad is over there talking about last drink, like for forever. Like, this should be your last drink. So Bianca and Robert, the cousin, have a little bit more one-on-one time. And he says that, Daniel did relapse in prison. Like, does that worry you? And he relapsed on fentanyl.
Wow.
I was thinking, like, if you watch the jail shows, like they be talking about hooch and how that's the like the alcohol that the prisoners make in jail with like their potatoes and all the little scraps that they can get together. So I was thinking like, oh man, he got some hooch in prison. Fentanyl, y'all. So this is why the family's so dire, because it's just like he don't relapse on just alcohol. Like
he relapse on anything he gets his hands on.
Exactly. And I'm like, that is scary and dangerous. So she says that she hasn't thought about it, but she isn't really worried about it. He asks her not to drink, at least not in front of him. And Bianca is just like, she likes to drink.
Wow.
So Robert thinks that Bianca has a drinking problem herself.
She might.
Any thoughts at this point?
Nope.
Okay. So Daniel is going to be getting released. She wants to look good for him. And she's going to have to share this moment with his family, who is also going to be at the release. So the family's already there. She meets them there, and she is talking to Robert. their other cousin is there as well, which is a girl. And he's talking about how like, oh yeah, you guys like and your boyfriends or whatever the case may be. And Bianca's talking about, well, Daniel like and me, we're fiancés. Like I'm his fiance. And Robert's like, I guess. I mean, I don't see it. And she's like, well, I'm not a fiance because I don't have a ring. And he was like, pretty much.
That's how it goes. Yeah.
And she was like, well, he proposed to me in prison, so I'm his fiance. So Robert anticipates that they're going to have some issues in the near future, and it's just a matter of time.
Let me talk to the husband name, or basically the fiance name is Robert, right? I'm talking about Bianca and who?
Daniel,
rather, right? Daniel. Let me talk to the parents. Mm-hmm. If something happens to your son, it will be not because of you, but I'm going to put a little blame on you. In that moment, basically, the fact that he overdosed, well, he didn't overdose, but the fact that he got on fentanyl in jail at one point, he relapsed on that, right? You already lost one son. You shouldn't be pussyfooting with this son. Mm-hmm. You should be talking to Bianca to her face and saying, I don't want you with my son. Mm-hmm. And stop making it seem like, well, as long as you don't do it in front of him, kind of like going on her terms. Like, I understand, like, episodes ago you cried and you shared the story and things like that. But at the end of the day, you let her convince you that she don't have a problem and that, like, I'm not going to drink in front. It's like, no, you need to be more stern if you're really concerned about saving this son's life of, like, I don't want you with my son.
Yeah.
Period. I lost one son and you are not mature enough. Nor just say flat out, I don't like you. like just be like, I don't like you. I don't agree, because you can't even put down the drink. You don't even think you have a problem.
Yeah.
So like I can't put my son at risk of being with you. We go do everything in our power to try to get him so he can be with us and things like that, because she is obviously immature. Mm-hmm. And she already convinced herself that she doesn't have a problem. She already convinced herself that like she got things under control. She said like it kind of sucks that like that they have to share the moment with me, basically with him getting released. Excuse me, they've been waiting and been supporting them all his life.
Yeah.
If anything, they sharing the moment with you. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? In the sense of they invited you and things like that. So it's like she just in her own world, and to me, she comes off as someone who's a runner, in the sense of when she has problems, she's going to run away. She's just going to leave whatever she had in the past and go ahead. So my only fear with Daniel is that you're going to relapse, and then she's just going to go on with her life, go on with her savings and things like that, with her court money and things like that, and leave you there to fend for yourself. I think we should just skip to the last step. Just go straight to your parents' house. Your father's already on a program to where he had his own demons he have to fight. So he's like, I don't want alcohol, I don't want drugs in the house. So I think the fact that y'all both can be there together, maybe iron can sharpen iron, but now you have to fight a bigger battle because the whole time your girl don't even feel like she has a problem. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. Bianca's immature. She doesn't understand the severity of the situation. She says that she's not thinking about him relapsing. I don't think she cares whether he relapses or not. I really don't think it matters to her. As long as she can be with him and be married to him. Mm-hmm. And then, like, I agree, when things get hard, she's going to be gone, and he's going to be left in the wind, and she's just going to be like, I had to choose myself. It was a toxic relationship.
Exactly.
But the thing is, like, we can all see, like, from the jump that this is probably not going to work out, but she's going to have to go through it. And the family, you know, I get what you're saying about them being like applying the pressure, basically. But I also can see where they're just like, he's a grown man. He's going to do what he wants to do regardless. Yeah. So, I mean, it's really so much we can say or do. But I agree. If I have to be harsh and mean, maybe that'll run her off, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe.
That's true.
So. Moving on, we've got Christine and Julian.
Yeah.
So Julian has another job interview. He's doing it in the house now. Now that she knows that he doesn't have a job. He doesn't have to do his interviews in the car.
Yeah.
So Christine is locked away upstairs while he's doing the interview, making flyers for her stand-up comedy. She's going to be doing an open mic tonight. And she is excited for it. So she comes down to show him the flyers after the interview, and he's asking her, do you think this is really the right time since we have bills, you know, restitution, child support, basically your bills. And, you know, this time could probably be spent picking up extra shifts. And she's irritated, and she's just like, you know, I thought you were going to be supportive of me, but whatever. I'm done talking to you about this. So He's telling her that it took him a while for her to like get her humor, and he's worried about how she might feel if people don't find her funny. Like he's wondering if that's going to send her down like a dark path or a spiral.
Basically, he's like, you're so not funny to me that you may relapse.
And Christina's like, other people find me funny. You don't find me funny, but other people find me funny.
Okay.
So we fast forward to nighttime. Christina's getting ready for open mic. She puts a flyer on the mirror as well as like a please come and lipstick. So that way, what's his name? Julian comes, and she's hoping that he'll come to support her. Mm-hmm. So she ends up getting there, and she's talking to some of her friends, her coworkers, and everything like that. And then they call her on the stage, and we will see how her set goes next time.
Yeah, I don't think she's funny. Mm-hmm. It's actually hard for me to watch her, to be honest. Mm-hmm. But what I think is going to happen is she's developing a social life, and Julian, if you already not going to fulfill your promises of taking care of her, she might like what's the use of being with you?
Right.
Especially since you hiding things from her. Whenever the kids come, she have to stay upstairs. During the interview process, she have to stay upstairs. It's just like she's in jail again. Mm-hmm. So it's like people have these like things that they obsessed with of getting prisoners and making them prisoners inside of their house instead of the system. So I think what's going to happen, the fact that she works in a restaurant kind of bar, whatever, she's going to be open to the public, and she may just date somebody else.
She might,
because like Julian, you are basically, you fill her head up with promises, and they are turned out to be lies, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree. Everything.
Yeah.
So we move on to Kim and Joey. Kim isn't as excited about the engagement party now. She feels like Joey is still learning financial responsibility. I don't think Joey's learning that. I think Joey's just blowing money.
Yeah.
He's not taking the time to learn nothing.
Pretty much.
The engagement party has also cost her about $2,000.
Why?
So Joey comes back from running errands, and Kim tells Joey that she got a friend request from his ex, and she's like, what would she possibly be having to say to me? Mm-hmm. And he's like, he doesn't know. He got a request from her as well, but he didn't respond. And then Kim is like, well, these are the types of things that I would like to know as they're happening. Like, it's kind of a big deal to me. Mm-hmm. And Joey feels like it wasn't a big deal to him, but we're talking about it now, so let's talk about it.
Yeah.
So he says that she keeps texting him and sending him WhatsApps, so that way they can talk discreetly. And she's like, so did you download the WhatsApp? And he was just like, yeah, I downloaded it.
Yeah.
So Kim is like, okay, let me see your phone, because like you're not being upfront with what's going on. Mm-hmm. So she reads through the phone. He's entertaining conversations with the ex. He's updating her on what he's doing throughout the day. And he, even texted her, why did you text me when Kim was with me? So Kim is like upset, clearly. And she's just like, you're over here telling her what you're doing throughout the day, and you don't tell me till you get back home. So he grabs his phone back. He says, F the engagement party, you can go by yourself. And he leaves in the car that she got him, along with the rims and the tires that she got him.
No. I got the rims myself for me. With your money,
with her money, right. So Joey leaves Kim, and he is heading to the park to meet with his ex to find out why she keeps trying to mess with his relationship.
I don't feel bad for Kim at all. Mm-hmm. Not in the least a bit. This man allegedly stole your father's bike, right? And you just went against the family and started dating him. Not only that, was it like he like your cousin's ex or whatever, things like that. So it's like you wanted I don't understand how you invest in problems and it be mad when they like show up.
Exactly.
Like, she invested in this. Who he is partially, if not a majority, because of what she's done for him, to him, and all the above. So I'm like, this is the guy you want. You give him the card and tell him go in the toy store, besides going with him. You give him the card and tell him to go get new tires and things like that. You buy him a whole new car. So it's like, it's like, why are you mad that this is the guy you got? This is the guy that you obviously wanted because you kept pouring into him in this way. And now you're like, yeah, he needs to learn financial responsibility. You think? I think you need to learn financial responsibility, because you're not even a teacher's. You're not even a teacher. You're a teacher's aide, I think she is.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you don't even have the salary to support you, basically yourself first. And then number two, somebody else, in the way that Joey's spending his money. So I really don't feel bad for Kim at all. Kim, this is the guy you wanted. You got him now. Be happy with him.
Yeah. Yeah. Joey has shown that he has not changed.
No.
So I think that means, Kim, you need to make some decisions.
She ain't gonna do it.
But it seems like, you know, she might be the one to go to the engagement party by herself and just say Joey could make it.
Yes.
That would be sad. That would be really sad. But that would be her decision.
Exactly.
So we move on to Latisha and Keith. She tells the kids that dad isn't coming home. The older daughter is just looking there staring just how she do, because she's like, that man ain't my daddy.
Wow.
And the younger girl is clearly heartbroken. Apparently Keith has been more of a dad to her youngest daughter than the youngest daughter actual dad. And the aunt is basically saying, like, you know, he'll probably be home towards the end of the year. The older daughter, she's actually very close with her dad, and you know, they live in the same city, so they get to see each other often. So the little girl, she's like crying, you know, with Leticia, and just saying that she wants her dad to come home. And Leticia tells the kids that, you know what, I think that, you know, maybe we should go somewhere where it's sunny and just kind of start fresh. Not telling them that exactly all the issues that's been going on, but she's saying that the property managers and landlords weren't doing what they were supposed to, so they need to find a house. And the next house, she's going to do her due diligence to make sure she's under good management.
Yeah, let's do an apartment. Probably.
So she talks to them about moving to Charlotte. That would be further from where they are now. They're currently in the Midwest, and that would be, of course, far from the oldest daughter's dad. So my thoughts about that. Leticia's talking about how she feels she didn't protect her daughters. No, she didn't protect her daughters at all.
No,
Number
not at all.
one is convincing this little girl that her dad is in prison. That is not her daddy. She should not be crying over this man like that's her daddy. And I understand, like, they're married or whatever the case may be, but I feel like it should be a clear distinction that this is your dad, the one that who don't be doing nothing for you.
Yeah,
that's your daddy. This man is my husband, and we want you to have a good relationship with him. If you want to call him dad, that's cool, whatever. But this is not really your daddy. Like, you have a daddy that's just not here, and that's heartbreaking enough for a child, let alone a father that she's waiting to come home from prison that's not coming home yet.
Facts.
So then, you know, I don't expect her to tell the kids all the details about what's going on with the house. They're too young. It's really, you know, it's a lot to put on young people about that kind of stuff. But I do think the oldest daughter, I think she deserves a little bit more transparency. I feel like her mom is kind of yanking her around a little bit, and I think she's losing respect for her mom. I think if she hasn't already lost,
she's losing respect for her mother because she's dealing with because her husband is in prison.
Yeah,
and she's in a relationship with this guy in prison. When it comes to the house, no. I don't believe you should tell your kids that, especially if they're not old enough to, what's the word? I don't want to say old enough to contribute, but I just feel like, hey, it's your job as the parent to protect them. And protecting them also means, like, hey, figure it out. You get what I'm saying? Like you already got yourself in this situation. You already got your aunt there. You already got adults there. Tell the adults, and y'all need to come together and figure something out before you being too transparent with the kid. You already told them that, hey, your daddy come home and they ain't coming home.
Yeah, but I do feel like with the oldest daughter, I think it's irresponsible for them to move all the way to Charlotte.
I mean, of course.
If her dad lives in the city. Like, why take her away from her father to put her in a house with some man that she don't even know? Like, I'm just like, I think it is selfish of Latisha to want to start over in Charlotte and to have this little family unit with her prison husband, and just ignoring the fact that the oldest daughter has a dad that she has a good relationship with and that she would want to see, you know, on a daily basis.
And if you had to guess, how old is the oldest daughter?
I would say probably like 16.
Listen here, I think at that age, and if the father is in the life of his daughter and they have a good relationship, oh, trust me, she's just not moving to Charlotte and things like that. If you really want to be a father in her life and things like that, it just won't happen that way. And truth be told, we can't really trust Latisha because she been giving money to paralegals. We don't know if she's really going to do whatever she says she's going to do because she just be doing things, and things like that. Anything else?
That's it.
What is your thoughts on this episode? Z really rubbed me the wrong way. I don't like Z at all.
I feel like this episode was preparing for a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So I feel like the only thing we got to see like come to fruition was that True didn't have to go to jail.
Yeah.
But I want to see Christine stand up. I want to see Z interacting with Yonna. I want to see Bianca meet Daniel. So it's a lot that we're kind of like on the cusp of for this episode.
Listen, Yonna must be beautiful as I don't know what, because the way Z be acting out, I don't really understand it.
Yeah, she's really bothered.
I really don't. Anything else?
That's all I got.
I need y'all to subscribe, like, share, comment. We see y'all next week with another episode of Love After Lockup.
Yep.
We see y'all.
Bye.